Welcome to Caching Waves. This is an Elliott wave update for ICP. Now in this video, I have good news, I have bad news. Good news is there are trade setups available. Bad news is my primary count is now bearish. I'm going to explain the targets I'm looking for, where I'm expecting potential recovery from, and we'll go over last count's video. So, first thing of note, off our high, we do have a 5-wave move. That is the good news. Since the low at 282.5, we have a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice clean impulse. We then had a WXY correction to the 618 retracement of the wave 1 for our wave 2, and we were looking for much higher targets. We then got what appeared to be an impulse to the upside, and we are looking for a 3-wave move back and continuation, preferably above this modified channel. Now, as the weeks went on, we suggested the fact that we could not be complete here technically. Reason being, this move right here in the completed correction was an ABCX ABC, double zigzag. But I mentioned pretty much in every video that this can also be counted as a 5-wave move. And if we were to fail, we would count it as a 5-wave move, and we'd be expecting a C wave to the downside. Most likely, because we have 3-wave moves down since the high as a diagonal. So that's my bad news. This is now my primary, that we are making a diagonal and we still have our WXY. Now the frustrating part of this, not frustrating, but the disappointing part is the W off the X hit exactly the 100%, exactly the 618 retracement. So it was very geared up to get moving to the upside. That was pretty much an ideal setup that you want to see. You take that 100 out of 100 times at this area and look for continuation of the trend of the wave 3 in the larger trend, right? So unfortunately it failed. That's things that tend to happen. Correction, it hasn't technically failed, but it's hanging on by a thread, and I'll explain why. Okay. So, as of right now, anticipating wave C equaling wave A, the second ABC, that should be around 490. That's the 1-to-1 extension. Our third wave in white, let me go down a level here. Oh, we lost it. Hang on. Our third wave in white, they usually look between the 618 and the 786. Just have to go below this wave 1 though in a 3-wave move. So we're looking for another 3-wave move, 3-wave move, 3-wave move complete at that 1-to-1. Okay. And that would get us to targets between the 1.236 and 1.382 extension of wave W for Y. And we'd still hold above the 786. We just passed the 618. So not ideal structures, but we have to deal with the fact of how weak this is looking. Now if I go to the smaller time frame and look what we were anticipating if it was a impulse, this is why it's always good to mock up what you're expecting. We were looking for a 3, 4, 5. right? We were looking just to launch. There was all our targets. We were good to go. And we were looking for it to hold. Keep moving up. 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, and off we go to the races, right? So we can't ignore the fact that we are not making any momentum to the upside. And every video I've posted, our trouble leg was right here, right, for the impulse to the upside. Where is that there? It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mentioned several times we just switch this to a flat. We get a double combination for the most likely scenario beyond that point. So this is where we're at. And I'm trying to think of ways we can recover that are not low probability, and they don't really exist. The only way I would see that possible, I don't even really want to talk about this, is if this was a three-wave move. I guess technically this could be our X up here. If this was a three-wave move, like so, ABC. My only option I see recovery that would make sense with the structure is we get a zigzag and a triangle. A, B, C, D, E, and we absolutely launch from here. Now in that scenario, we'd still get our zigzag, X, triangle, and we go. But you just got to realize that's very low probability, right? You want to stick to most obviously clean counts. And what I will say is I'll have alarms set, obviously, and if we start moving in impulses here, obviously I'll hop back on board and consider that a count. I just don't want to give you every option available because there are a lot. I'm just sticking to the most probable. So in that scenario, again, this is maybe C, D, E, but that invalidates as soon as we drop below this level, right? So that is pretty much the main bullish scenario. The other one, honestly, is this is some sort of very long B wave, come back for a C, something like this. But if that's a wave 2 and this is a wave 1, I mean, very low probability to get that long of a wave 2. We'd expect the bulls to come in before then. So just looking at the structure, what makes the most sense to me and why it is my primary here, Bitcoin as well, looking at Bitcoin, is that we're going to get this diagonal to the downside, ABC. If we go down to the 1 hour, you can also see off this three-wave move to the downside, which is what we'd expect in a wave 1 and a diagonal, came back in a three-wave move, bang, right between the golden zone of the move to the downside. So all the algos sold right there. That was our golden zone. And I don't talk about this much, but algo target is around the -236 when it hits that golden zone. So looking for three-wave pattern here and to finally complete somewhere end of September. Again, I mean, that triangle is possible as a Y wave and we hold this level, but I'm not getting into that until we get like a 5-wave move to the upside on the micro. If this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, get a nice pullback. I would relook at that, but I'd use trigger in orders on breakouts for that. Right? It's just too low probability until it really exposes itself. This makes the most sense. We're just in a double zigzag for our wave 2. I'll give it a little deeper wave 2, but it's still right there, right? And if I get rid of this stuff, just want to show you how weak this is holding up. Like you can see, as soon as we break this trend line here, it's pretty much over for the low to be in. Go on log scale for that. Log or linear, but you see what I'm talking about, guys. Seeing this as a 1-2 after this deep retracement, this 3-wave move, this deep retracement, you just gotta switch your viewpoint at some point. First initial reaction we had where maybe this isn't a low was how low we came here. We did give it the option to make a second 1-2, 1-2 to go, but we're pretty much almost invalidated of all those bullish scenarios. So that's where I'm at, guys, looking for this diagonal to play out to around $5. See how long it takes, but this is my expectation before we do move to the upside. Targets will all change for that third wave to the upside, but this is now my primary count. ICP to $5. All right, guys, I wish I had better news. There are trade setups here. In the diagonal here, if you get any sort of decent pullback, if you're watching this, look for a nice 50 or a 618. This could come lower, obviously, but keep pulling the fibs. If we came back here, I'd be looking for a short here, stop at the high. It would be something like this, going for the full, right? 3-to-1 risk reward. Obviously, you can play that tighter depending how tight you scalp. I would actually wait for the C wave and get in something like this. Very tight, but that's me. I'm watching the charts all day. I'm down on the 1-minute chart looking for exact setups because I watch it very closely. But that would be a fine trade for a swing trader. Not financial advice, just giving a couple tips there. So that's what I'm looking for, expecting it to fail at this point. That is my primary. The only way I'd see recovery, again, is this as a triangle, and that's the low. But as long as we hold this level, obviously we can come a little bit lower. That would be our C wave, A, B, C, D, E. That would be our C wave, and our count would start from here. But not interested in that, again, until we actually make a 5-wave impulse on the micro. Might be interested in a pullback if we make something like that. This is my primary view. There's a 3-to-1 trade available for myself. You make your own decisions, not financial advice. But I am expecting the alts to tank a little bit longer here, unfortunately. But at least if you see this, you're able to adjust your position size if you choose to do that and maybe save some money, reload lower. All right, guys, ICP to $5. Here, you heard it here first. All right, see you on the next one.